What is poppin', ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Liverpool versus Manchester United podcast. It's been a minute. Been busy with some stuff, but we're back. We're back. We're going to talk about some of the latest news going on with Liverpool and Man United. As everyone knows, the World Cup's coming up. So a lot of the players are on international duty doing some international friendlies at the moment. Um, Other players, such as Fabinho, who I'll get into in a second, who didn't make the cut for the international squads, they're involved in some transfer news. So let's open up with Liverpool, talk about them, some news, and then we'll transition over to Man U, talk a little bit about them, what's been going on. Both teams have had some exciting signings, or Liverpool signing, and some rumors. All right, so let's get into it first, leading off with Liverpool. So, a few big pieces of news recently since the last time we spoke. Um, Liverpool signed Fabinho. Long Brazilian name. I'm not really sure what it is, but Fabinho, center defensive mid who can also play right back, formerly from AS Monaco. And from what I've seen of this guy, the guy's fantastic. Technical ability, defensive ability, and also the ability to get up the field and actually a penalty specialist as well. And even on his worst day, he has the ability to play right back, which is pretty good. I mean, to have a versatile defensive midfielder like that, I think that's what Liverpool have been lacking. You know, Henderson can do the job, but I think this may open up the field for maybe Henderson to get forward, or maybe Klopp would want to rotate them. I guess it really we'll have to see in this upcoming season, you know. And I didn't really know who Fabinho was until the signing, so I did some research. You know, I looked up, of course, the highlight clips and all that good stuff, and the guy can play. You know, expert technique when it comes to uh, dribbling into tight spaces, great passing ability through balls. Um, he has good balance. He stays on his feet. He doesn't lunge. He doesn't cheat on defense. He's really good at reading that. And, like I mentioned a second ago, penalty specialist, which Liverpool could absolutely use with James Milner getting older. You know, Firmino can take him, Salah can take him. But, it's good to have a penalty specialist. So that's nice. Additionally, Liverpool are in the market for a attacking midfielder slash winger, attacking forward. And the big name that everyone's been, I mean, if you follow any soccer, you've been known that Nabil Fekir has been linked with Liverpool. And I think this is pretty interesting because Fekir, I actually, in my old career mode, I think when I was playing like FIFA 16 or something, um, you can scout the players and all that. And I signed Fekir, and, I was like, wow, I didn't even know this guy was like out there, and he's excellent. He's like, at the time, he was like an 84 rated, um, attacking or winger. And I was like, okay, this guy's good, left. And then, boom, Liverpool are looking at him and trying to sign him. So I think that's pretty interesting. French, 24 years of age, captaining the Lyon side, and apparently that's his boyhood club. So if we ended up getting him from his boyhood club, that must mean he really wants to come to our club because a lot of other teams are looking at him as well. So this is something pretty interesting to follow. Now it's kind of been dragging out. Lyon want upwards of 60 million for the guy, and it's just crazy the money in soccer now. And you look at the goalkeepers, that the top goalkeepers in the world, Oblak, Allison, 80, 90 million for a goalkeeper. I mean, that's just crazy. The inflation, and it's only going to keep going up because you don't have the cap like you do in NBA and other American sports where you have a cap and you can only have a certain amount of um, or certain amount of money for the payroll. I mean, it's just insane. So, um, but it's kind of dragging out. The links came out, and the dialogue's kind of vague. I mean, Fakir's kind of he's like, oh, I'm leaving all my options open. I'm gonna wait, and the agents are coming out saying the Lyon president is waiting for the green light, or they're waiting for the green light from the president. So it's kind of sticky right now. We're kind of just waiting to see how it plays out, but hopefully it'll be wrapped up soon, or sooner rather than later. Who knows? It could end up going till after the World Cup. Additionally, Linders returns to Liverpool. I'm not even sure of his first name, but I do know that he is a developmental coach. He leads a lot of the stretching routines, practices, a lot of the drills. Pep, that's what it is. Pep Linders. You know, he was in charge of NEC. I don't even know. I know he left Liverpool to take that job, but I guess it was unsuccessful. So now Klopp's got him back. And that's good. I think Klopp's happy about that. I mean, I always hate to see when a backroom staff has to leave or takes another job, like when Buvac or Klopp's number two, when he left, it just kind of puts like a stint in, you know, your confidence as a fan. You're just like, oh man, what's going on? Is morale low? That kind of stuff. So I'm really happy that we got him back. Um, as far as his personality, his coaching style, his methods, his, tactics, I'm not very sure. I just know him and Klopp are on the same mental wavelength as far as tactical football. So it's good to have him back. I think things are looking up now as far as the coaching staff goes because it's kind of there was some dark clouds around it when Buvac left towards the end of the season. So it's good to have him back now. Additionally, some other players that we've been linked with today, starting today, um, Yerdan Shaqiri, which I couldn't care less about. Shaqiri, he's like 29, 30, 31. He's up there. Stoke City, he's he's a hit or miss guy. He's either going to have a good game or he's either going to have a terrible game or he's going to score a worldie from 30 yards out. I mean, he's left-footed. He can be a good signing for a backup winger, which I think would be good for Salah to get some rest because this past season Salah played nearly every game. League, Champions League, Domestic Cup, didn't matter what it was. So I think as far as having that option of an additional winger, I think that's excellent. Do we think it should be Shaqiri? I'm not sold on that. But we'll see kind of where it goes. Um, I don't really know his stats too much for Stoke City. I do know that Stoke got relegated, so couldn't have been that involved in success over there. Moving on, we got Jasper Cillessen. Now I remember the first time I saw Cillessen was in the 2014 World Cup, and he was trying to clear the ball, from his box, and he faked out a pressing striker and kicked it back into the field and looked back at him like, "Huh, gotcha." I mean, I was just like, this guy's so cocky, but anyway, um, second string keeper for Barcelona. The quotes that he put out today are kind of weird. Here, let me see if I can find and read them. Um, all right, this is what he said. He told Fox Sports, he said, quote, Arsenal and Liverpool are good clubs, but I have to accept Barcelona's decision and continue here. I will wait for the preseason to find out what the club decides. If they want to keep me, I have to accept it because I signed a 5-year contract. That guy sounds like he is so laid back, probably a douche on every other day. He just really seems like he doesn't care either way. He's like, oh, well, I guess I have to stay in Barcelona because I signed a contract. Like, no shit, you have to stay there. If you want to leave, though, make it known. I mean, I don't know. It's just very weird, those comments. But, at least it's credible because he did make the comments. And as far as backing up Ter Stegen, Barcelona are getting rid of Ter Stegen. He's a good player, solid starting goalkeeper, and we were even linked with him last year or 2 years ago before we signed Karius, when Mignolet was just horrific. So that's pretty interesting. But we're going to continue to be linked with goalkeepers, and another one that I saw today was Leno from Leverkusen, which I don't mind. I think, and that's a cheaper option. I think that's 25 million compared to 80 that Roma want for Allison. That seems more reasonable to me financially and logically. So going from there, let's move on to Man United news, and then we'll kind of stop at the end and sum up everything. So United made some significant signings recently. They signed Fred from Shakhtar, which is a okay signing. I know he's a good player. I'm not exactly sure what Mourinho's plans are for him, but it does make sense that he signed an already established player that doesn't need development. Because we all know that Mourinho's not a developmental coach. So what he's going to do, he's going to take stars, i.e. Pogba, Mkhitaryan, all Matic, all these guys, put them in the team, and then just try to get the best players to win, as opposed to developing them. So, Fred. But then, going off of that, it doesn't really make sense signing Diego Dalot, right back, 19 years old, from Porto, 6 appearances this past season. This is obviously a future signing, or who knows, maybe he starts. Maybe Mourinho's turning a new leaf and wants to start developing players. I'm not sure. But Jose Mourinho added, quote, Diego is an extremely talented young defender with all the qualities to quickly become a great player for this club. He has all the attributes that a fullback needs: physicality, tactical intelligence, and technical quality, combined with a Porto Academy mentality which prepares players for the maturity they need at the professional level. In his age group, he is the best fullback in Europe, and we all believe he has a bright future ahead of him at Man U. Now, best fullback in his age group is all fine and dandy, but I just don't see how he's going to succeed under Mourinho. Look at Martial and Rashford. He's just stunted their confidence ridiculously. It's almost like he does have connections to Porto. I mean, he was the coach there. So he probably has contacts that are telling him, hey, look, this guy's a good up and coming player. If you throw him in the first team, he's going to get the job done. So, going off of that, it's a decent signing, preparing for the future. I don't mind it. Obviously not a Man U fan, but, we'll see where that goes. Additionally, I can't remember this guy's super long name. He plays for Lazio. Let me see. See if I can find it. Wait, was that it? Mana, like Savage something. Um, Anyways, this guy plays for Lazio, and I was looking up some highlights last night for this guy. Now it's making me mad. I need to find him. All right, here we go. Savage. Here we go. Milinkovic Savic. Okay, this guy, Lazio. Apparently, they're saying he's worth about 100 million, which, based on his highlight reel, is absolute bullshit. Okay, he's a good player. He's a good dribbler. He's also tough, physical, and he has a strong mentality. But watching him play, he didn't really stand out to me as a dominant player on the field. It was almost like flair, and then the occasional goal, and that's what most of his highlights was the flair aspect, dribbling off the knee without a few touches, like dribbling around people. But I don't know. It just seems like Man United aren't going in the right direction as far as they're trying to cover up their weaknesses by signing players as opposed to developing, working within the club, and getting better from within, from coaching, from developmental play. I mean, and it's kind of, I'll try to make this clear. Obviously, when you have weak points, you're going to sign players that are good to fill in those weak points, to fill those voids. However, do you really need to spend as much as Mourinho is spending every single transfer window to bring in players? I mean, Pogba, oh my gosh, I'm blanking now. Lukaku, yeah. Mkhitaryan. Sanchez was a swap deal because Mkhitaryan didn't work out, but he signed Mkhitaryan. Like, he's literally not a good developmental coach. He has one way, and he's going to bring in the best players to cover his ass because he knows that his way isn't how football is now. So he needs the best players to cover up essentially talent over hard work because we all know they're not really working that hard. they're not really, they don't have that grit that Liverpool and City have. I mean, they're really just getting by on raw talent now. Um, but anyway, after I'm, you know, done with that little spiel there. Um, but going back to Milinkovic Savic, 50 million, or they signed Fred for 50 million. Milinkovic Savic, 100 million apparently is what they're worth, or is what they're saying he's worth. Some additional players that they've been linked with. We got Bale, which is, I don't, Man United, there's only a handful of clubs in the world that could probably afford Bale's wages. I mean, you got Bayern, obviously Barcelona, Madrid, maybe Juventus, City, United. I don't even think Liverpool would be able to support. I mean, I'm sure they have the money, but they wouldn't. They don't pay players outrageous amounts like that, or like the bigger clubs do. But I think Bale's staying put. There's no way he's coming to United. If he does come to United, I'm going to be shocked because I just don't see him leaving Madrid. I mean, he wasn't a key player this past season, but then again, he was struggling from injuries. So you're looking at the game he had in the Champions League final, and you're almost saying to yourself, like, why would this guy leave? Why, or more like, why would Madrid sell him? So to be honest with you, I think we have a better chance of seeing Ronaldo go back to United this summer than we do of Bale. That's just my personal opinion, though. Um, let's go going further. Let me see if there's any other news here um, as far as Man United goes. I guess Man United doesn't want to pay for the asking price of Savic. 100 million, that's a lot um, for a player like this who, to be honest, I didn't even hear of until I started searching for, Man United links and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's just really, really interesting that they want that player. Um, let's see who else if there's any other news. Um, Marco Arnautovic. Here's something I want to bring up on Arnautovic. To my understanding, Arnautovic is a little bit older. Now, I think he is at the perfect club right now for his ability, i.e., West Ham. Perfect club for his ability. He does not need to go to United. Maybe he'll do well, maybe he doesn't. But right now, West Ham, perfect. It's a relatively big size club because remember, he came from Stoke. He was great at Stoke. He stood out. But now on West Ham, he just kind of had a mediocre season. Granted, it was his first season and he went through a bunch of coaches, but I think he's good where he's at. So I don't think that they'll go to United, nor do I think um, Mourinho will sign a player like Arnautovic. I think Mourinho's more of a let's go get a top class player rather than a above average winger slash attacker. So that's my 2 cents. And that is essentially it for Man United news at the moment. So they have the two signings. Liverpool got the Fabinho. Things are looking up. So let's kind of summarize. Let's bring it all back in. So looking at Liverpool for this summer, since Van Dijk, we have kind of approached every signing as it's very low key and it's an important signing. Van Dijk, Fabinho. We're not just signing like role players. We're replacing players that we had with starters. You look at our back four prior to Van Dijk, Lovren and Matip were like the top two, and then Clavin was coming in. We looking back now, we desperately needed a center back, and even back then at the time, I was like, no, we have center backs that are above 80 on FIFA. I mean that's fine, but looking back, I'm glad we did it. And now with the Fabinho coming in, Fekir, I think Liverpool are now at the point where they are signing top class talent and not signing players that are just okay and hoping that they work out. And that's what I love to see as a fan, and I think every Liverpool fan can agree with me that Jurgen Klopp is developing what is the proper word? A legendary era at Liverpool. And who knows, he may even take Liverpool up to where City is now. Top club, amazing, winning trophies. I mean, it's just like I said in our last few podcasts, such an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. Going over to Man United. I've been listening to some podcasts, following some videos on Man United fans, and to be honest with you, they're kind of just like, nonchalantly going through this transfer window. They're not really too excited about the season. They see the signings coming in, they're like, okay, good. We got some signings. We got Fred, who's obviously an established player, and they're being linked with some pretty top talent. But from an outsider's perspective, I'm looking at Man United like, even though you finished second, you didn't have any standout games. I mean, or it wasn't a standout season. It was kind of like, oh, you look at the table, oh, Man United in second. You know what I mean? Whereas Liverpool, they finished, was it third or fourth? I think it was fourth. They finished fourth, but everyone was talking about Liverpool. I mean, we were beating teams 5-0, and Man United was doing that at the beginning of the season, but then it kind of tapered off towards the end. 2-1s, 1-0s. I mean, they even lost a few games, like to some scrubs, tied against like Burnley or something. And I'm just really, really interested to see after the World Cup who the big clubs in the world sign. Because we all know if you have a good World Cup, you can land yourself a solid, solid contract. I mean, look at Ashley Williams from the Euros 2 years ago. Man was playing for Swansea, had an excellent, excellent Euros for Wales, and signed a great contract with Everton. I mean, you look at that. If you're looking at that, it's not really that big of a jump as far as career goes. But if you saw how he played, you'll understand that earned him that contract. If he didn't play that well, or say he wasn't in the Euros, nothing would have come of it. Ashley Williams is just another average defender. I'm trying to think of some other examples. Renato Sanchez. It was either for the Euro. I think it was for the Euros, and then he signed for Swansea. I mean, players just stick out, you know. And I think that's what makes the World Cup so exciting is that you get to see these players with the passion for their country playing their favorite sport. So they're going to give 110%. Not to say that they're not doing that for their clubs, but it's a different kind of passion that you have when you're playing international soccer. And you can see it when these players play. I'm so excited to see how Liverpool and Man United respond to the play that we see in the World Cup. And not only that, but I'm so excited for next season. I mean, I can't even wait. But the World Cup, man, it's gonna be good. And if you're listening to this and you're interested in the World Cup and you plan on watching it, let me know in the comments who you think's gonna win. Maybe some of your predictions, and let me know what you think about some of the rumored players. It'd be interesting. Maybe we can get into a little bit of a friendly debate about it. But other than that, don't have anything new to report. It's good talking to you guys. Good checking in. Hopefully, I'll talk to you soon.